Yo, what is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 15 of the Posh Push, here with Peterborough United in the Sky Bet Championship. Hopefully you guys are good. Today I have a live com earlier than billed in the previous episode, as we will be taking on Wigan Athletic in a top of the table clash. So if you missed last episode, go check it out as always. But since the previous episode's match, in which of course we lost to Brentford, things have been a bit hit and miss. In 7 games, we've acquired 3 wins, 2 draws and 2 defeats. Now, considering that up until kind of last episode against Brentford, we'd only lost once, to now have doubled our tally in terms of kind of total losses in just 7 games is a little disappointing. But regardless, there's still some pleasing performances in here. The first game of this kind of sequence came against Fulham, a team who were predicted to do really well this year but have struggled. We took a lead in this game, Kakuta cutting inside onto his left foot, doing what he's been doing a lot for us this year, and with a really tidy finish. However, unfortunately for us, in the 90th or just shy of the 90th minute, Frank Lampard turned up for Fulham and banged in a goal, and it was heartbreaking. It was so close yet so far for us. A win here could have been great for us, but because of this goal, it meant that we hadn't won in 2, and our players' confidence was looking a little bit lacking, as we'll come on to shortly. Anyway, following on from this, we had an away tie against Forest, and you can see in Nottingham Forest, they did pretty well. They scored 4 goals. Unfortunately, 2 of them were own goals, and we won by virtue of the fact that we didn't score own goals, and ultimately it was a bit of a bizarre game, but one that we did come away with the spoils from. Will Hughes grabbing the only goal scored by one of our players, Simon Cox for Nottingham Forest grabbing 2, but unfortunately that wasn't enough to overturn the damage that had been done by Collins and Conboy, respectively, by them banging in own goals. Anyway, moving on from this, the next game was against Sheffield Wednesday, a game that had obviously been played last season when we met them in the FA Cup, a game which we won. So I was looking to kind of replicate the success of last season in the Cup this year in the league, and we did do just that, winning this game 2-0 at home. It was a hard-fought game. It certainly wasn't as comfortable as it should have been. We had a lot of shots and a fair few chances, but we didn't do a lot with them. It was a bit worrying. I've got to be honest, it was a bit worrying. Asombalonga has not been in perfect goal scoring form. He's still been banging in the goals, but he's just lacking a bit of a support act, I guess, in terms of someone who's equally capable of coming up with goals when we need them consistently. Anyway, Freire got a good goal there. He's actually been one of the few players who's been in great form over the last few games, and over, I guess, this last period of kind of play since the last episode, he's just been consistent. Asombalonga getting a goal there as well. But yeah, Freire's been a great player for us. Of course, we picked him up on a free transfer 2 years ago, or last year, about a year and a half ago now, really. And he's looking like a fantastic player at 24. He's still got a little bit of potential to fulfill. You can see he's still improving, and if we look at his report, he'd be a decent player for most Premier League sides. And to grab him on a free transfer when we're in League One, he's looking like a fine piece of business. So far this year, 20 appearances in the league, 4 goals and 7 assists. He's already looking like he's on course to have a better season than the last, and that's really good to see. Unfortunately for us, our kind of slight fix in terms of we started to get back on the right track, I guess, with 2 wins in a row, was halted pretty abruptly by Rotherham, who won 2-0. Rotherham, of course, a team who got promoted to the Championship this year in real life, because I'm on the updated database. They started in the Championship and they survived in the league last year. As you can see, right now they're in 18th. To lose 2-0 to them was pretty disappointing, to say the least. It was a pretty underwhelming game, and one where we were just very, very quiet. Johnny Russell actually starting up top for us because of Asombalonga struggling with tiredness. He's playing a lot of football. He's been playing a lot on the international stage. He needed a break. I gave it to him this game, and it kind of cost us. Johnny Russell, of course, joined us this year from Derby, primarily to play out wide on the wings as kind of be an alternative option there. However, he does kind of slot quite nicely into that second choice striker role. However, in 12 appearances, of which 4 have been off the bench, he's only scored 3 goals and only 1 assist. I'm looking for him to step things up in the second half of the season and hopefully give us a little bit more to shout about and make us look slightly less silly for spending as much money as we did on him. Fortunately for us, however, that away defeat didn't hurt us completely, and from that Rotherham defeat we learnt and we were able to beat Leeds United 3-0, Sombalonga grabbing 2, Tom Lees with an own goal. All in all, just a very solid performance, the kind of win that we needed. Just to keep some morale. It's very dangerous in FM, just even if you slip up a few games in a row, particularly when you're in a position we are where we are at this moment in time, still at the top of the table. Just a draw, a defeat, that can impact your team's confidence. It's just takes away from the rhythm of the team's performances, and it can become troublesome and problematic, and that's something that we have got to address in today's episode, because following on from this, we are yet to win. In our 2 last games we drew 1 and we lost 1. And that was disappointing. The defeat came against Norwich, one of our local rivals, a particularly underwhelming performance. So I am going to be looking to set that record straight. Besides that, this game was, as you've seen, pretty cut and dry. There wasn't too much competition in it. We had 5 clear-cut chances, we took them, and we had an early 2-0 lead, which kind of played into our favour quite nicely. We went from looking very prominent in the last game and scoring 3 to suddenly really struggling. However, we drew 0-0 with Sunderland. We didn't have a shot on target. They only had 2. Pretty much the definition of a bore draw. Perhaps we will look back on this game as one where if we hit the target, maybe did a little bit more with the ball in the opposition areas, we could have come out with something more. And then the last game of this sequence of results was the game that I've already kind of touched upon quickly, but we lost 4-1 to Norwich, and it was hard to take. We were 2-0 down after 40 minutes. 2 goals in quick succession really hurt us. I changed my tactics. I went a lot more attacking. I kind of thought, right, we need to go for this. If we're going to turn around a 2-goal deficit, we've got to go for it. And Johnny Russell got a goal, and it was his first goal in a very long time. So that was good to see him get that. However, the kind of underlying issue, I guess, was the fact that we continued to push. We needed that next goal, and unfortunately for us, Gouffran got a goal for Norwich to make it 3-1, and then Dan Burn scored from a free kick to make it 4-1. So all in all, that was pretty disappointing to take. So right now, it is the 6th of December. We are going to be playing Wigan in the Championship. You guys can see here at the top of the table, it is ourselves and Wigan. As we've kind of dropped off the pace, other teams have kind of slipped up. You'll see Brentford, who were obviously top of the league after last episode, down in 5th. Wigan and Newcastle hot on our heels really now. Only 4 points the difference between ourselves and them. Our goal difference is superior, especially to Newcastle, who of course we spanked earlier on in the season. But under the lead of Ian Holloway, they've really turned things around this year. So Newcastle and Wigan looking like our main threats, although Reading, Brentford and even Bolton to a certain extent not completely out of the title race really. So we are 21 games in. We're looking very good right now. Sombalonga is still top of the goal scoring charts. Will Hughes still finds himself top of the assist charts, and you can see both those players featuring the top performers kind of charts, I guess. So we go into this game knowing a win here could give us a 7-point gap over the team kind of who would be Wigan in 3rd potentially. If we were to lose this and Wigan and Newcastle win, our gap at the top would be cut to just 1 point, and that is a situation that I really don't want to see kind of develop, I guess. It's it's not the situation I want to find myself in. Anyway, going into today's game, not too much to tell you guys about in the way of news. We have got a few injuries. You can see Ryan Mason is out with a torn hamstring, unfortunately. That's a long-term injury. Of course, we signed this guy last year for our League One campaign. He just doesn't have the quality to keep up in our side, especially alongside some of the new signings we've made this year in the central midfield area. As for John Taylor, another very good player when we came to the club initially. However, he's now out with a strained knee ligaments, and he's been out for a little while with that, and he's not going to be fit for a while. And unfortunately for us, just our rapid acceleration up the league thus far is pretty much rendering him a bit inadequate at this point in terms of, I guess he's just not the player that I need at this level. He's just simply not good enough. A few players have made the kind of changes. Ngozi has made a big change. And he's also playing a lot for South Africa, which is really good to see. Will Keane has played a fair few games. You can see here 11 sub appearances. He's a good impact player, Will Keane. He hasn't got the best stamina, and that does sometimes cost him when we start him, but he's been a good player off the bench. Obviously, he's now a lot more competent playing on the right-hand side. I talked about this last episode, but he's got a little bit more flexibility. He offers us a few other options when need be. But anyway, we're going to go into today's game. I'm going to be playing the counter tactic because we are away from home here. I'm going to make a few of my own changes. I'm going to play Mellis at deep line playmaker. Besides that, team is fairly good in terms of its form. Alcock, who of course got injured last game, was actually out for a little while with an injury. This is only his second game back. He had fractured ribs and was out for 6 weeks. So, we go into this game knowing that a win is what we really need here. If we were to lose here, it would put a little bit of, well, not necessarily unnecessary pressure, that might not sound right, but pressure that could certainly be avoided. Unnecessary pressure makes it sound as if like losing this game would be terrible and it would kind of be our own faults, when in reality we are punching way, way above our weight. Granted the fact that, at least in my assistant's eyes, a few of our players are now at that Premier League quality, players like Will Hughes, Freire, or Sombalonga. But we'll see what we can do here, as there is a chance. Hendrick picks it up. Can we hit them on the break here? Wigan committing men high up the field. Freire with some space down the left-hand side. He is now competent playing there. And a Sombalonga with the rebound, a double save. I believe that is Scott Carson in there. What a name. Good saves there, but we have got another chance here. Ball whipped in. Mellis, Keane, and Boswick bangs it in from 7 yards out. He wheels away in jubilation. That is 1-0. Looking at the stats, Wigan with 1 shot on goal so far after 15 minutes. They are dominating possession, however. Fortunately for us, we are making the most of our counter-attacking game plan. You can see a Mellis to Keane, gets hit by someone, but it falls to Michael Boswick, and he buries it. Michael Boswick has been a superb player. He's signed a new contract with the club. He was one of a few players on my list of players whose contracts were running out at the end of this season, who I wasn't sure whether or not I'd be extending them. And I've chosen to do that. Unfortunately, Maloney there has scored for Wigan, and that makes it 1-1. That is bitterly disappointing. But as I said, no, Boswick signed a new deal, which is really promising. There are a few other players who have done that. Mellis is on a new deal now. So we really have kind of started to invest. I'm very much looking to the future now and thinking in my head, we are going to either be a top championship team next year or a Premier League team. And I'm obviously extending contracts on players, especially whom only have 6 months left on their deal. I'm extending them now with next season in mind. But anyway, at half time it's going to be 1-1. It's been apparently a very entertaining first half. There's only been the 2 clear-cut chances. I'm going to try and encourage our players to go out there and perform this second half. It's not going to be easy by any means, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that we can do something here. Obviously, the disappointment of last episode is still kind of fresh in my mind. Losing to Brentford was a little bit disappointing. We've got a chance here, though. Sombalonga hits the side netting. That's an uncharacteristic mistake, but it comes back to what I was talking about before when I said about how perhaps he's not been quite as clinical as he was before. We've lacked kind of a second-choice goal scorer. Sombalonga last season, 41 goals in all competitions. Even the start of this season, he was in similar goal-scoring form. However, certainly the latter half of this year, that's tailed off a little bit, and we are looking at maybe a little bit short of a goal or two in some games. But anyway, we're doing okay here right now. We're keeping the ball nicely, and we've not been doing that much this game, but we have got a chance here. We've got some men up in the attack. Freire lost by Will Hughes, however, but Briggs will pick it up, and you can see we're trying to find that space in the opposition team. Hendrick with some space now to roam. He'll get it to Kakuta on his left foot. What an effort, son. He cuts in, Kakuta. He has been a great loanee signing from our affiliates, Chelsea, coming in with no wages having to be paid for the entire year. That is his 5th goal of the season. We've been playing him out on the right. He has that option to cut inside on his left peg. It's squeezed through a few bodies of players. Keeper off-sighted, and he has scored an absolutely fantastic goal for us there. can we do some more of the same now? Alcott, Sombalonga, one thing I don't want to see now is us conceding. I'm not going to change up our game plan too much just because we are basically soaking up pressure anyway. The only real change I can make is either to switch to defensive or contain. And from my own experience, defensive and contain, they never work very well when you want them to work. You basically start inviting more pressure onto yourself, whereas right now we're going to have to be a little bit wary of our counter-attacking threat. Make some subs here because we are now entering the latter stages of the game, getting some fresh legs. Sombalonga, a 6.2 average rating, really epitomises what an average game he's had. It kind of hurts me a little bit to say that, but we'll make a double change there. Sombalonga and Will Hughes, our two main men coming off just for the last few minutes. Save their legs, but also just kill some time, and that will do it right there. An absolute screamer by Calcutta gets us the win. And we've proven many of the doubters wrong there. As you can see, Wigan were predicted to win. We were away from home. Calcutta gets man of the match with that strike. Looking at other results around us, I'm trying to see where Newcastle are. They won 2-1, unfortunately. So we haven't been able to extend our gap over them, but we have done so over Wigan, which is going to be absolutely huge in kind of our title credentials, I guess, as now we have a 7-point gap over Brentford in third. So anyway, guys, I'm not sure when I'm going to be back for the next episode. It may be the Reading game. We got Brighton in the FA Cup third round. I'm probably not going to live-com that because it's not that big of a game. So the next game may well be Reading, and then we may follow that up with the Newcastle game. I'm kind of having to play it by ear right now because, to be honest, the pack chasing us has been mixed up and changing a lot. Pretty much every kind of gap between episodes, but we'll go with the flow. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. As always, it was a great result for us there against Wigan. I'm a very happy bunny. Only 4 defeats, and we have 1 game left until we're halfway through our season, and at basically the halfway point now we are guaranteed to be top of the league, which is an absolutely incredible achievement. But anyway, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed as always. I've already said that. Thank you for watching as always. If you enjoyed, smash the like button. Leave a comment down below. Maybe you've got something to ask. Maybe, I don't know. Tell me how your day is. What's the weather like outside? I want you to look to your left or your right if your window's on the right. If you're in a room with no windows, you're probably Harry Potter living under the stairs. The bottom line is, what's the weather like for you today? Let me know. Prove to me that you've watched till the end of the video like a loyal viewer. It's always funny seeing people get confused when I do one of these things and they don't really get why everyone's talking about a specific topic. But anyway, we're done. Thank you as always, guys. Much appreciated. I am rambling away. Let's just end things here.